Welcome to today's video, where we will be discussing how to become a business analyst with no experience. So, if you are someone who doesn't have any experience in business analysis and is aspiring to become one, then this is the right video for you. Today, we will talk about what kind of techniques or what path, I would say, what approach you could take to become a business analyst without any experience. So I get a lot of requests through LinkedIn, through my website, where people who don't have any experience in business analysis wants to become one. And most of them, I would say, falls under two categories. There are people who have some experience. So there are people who doesn't have any experience at all. So I'll say usually college students who are maybe going to graduate in a year or so and they are planning for their career, which is a very good thing. You should plan before your degree completes. So these are very proactive students, or they have just completed their degrees, whether it is engineering or management or anything, but they have just completed it, so they still don't have any experience. And then there is second category where these people have been working for years now. Could be as a developer, project manager, sales, marketing, variety of other fields for banks, insurance companies. So they have work experience, but they haven't worked as a business analyst. So these are the two categories I would put all these requests into. You might be falling under first category or second category, but don't worry, we'll cover both of these categories. In this video, I'm going to essentially focus on the college students, those who have just completed their degree. But if you are someone who's having some experience and looking to become a business analyst, I would say subscribe to the channel because you won't want to miss the next video, which will be covering you. So here, let's start. So I will say the first thing is to learn about business analysis or anything you want to do in your life. You have to go through some kind of training. There are a variety of online courses out there. I'm offering one. So use some training or course to learn business analysis. There are no shortcuts around it. You have to be very thorough given you don't have any experience. And it's fair to assume that you won't be getting too many interview calls. So you can't afford to not do well in these calls. So let's say if you apply to 100 positions, chances are you'll get 10 to 20 interview calls. And then out of those, you'll have to crack at least 2 to 5 so that you can start your BA career. So focus on studying, learning the craft because it's a very vast field and you have to be very thorough with it. And as I said, it is vast. That's why it's very important to target certain companies. There are hundreds and thousands of companies out there which are hiring business analysts, which is a good thing because it shows that market is really good for BAs. And when I say BAs, I'm not talking about data analyst here. I'm talking about business system analyst. People who write requirements, they work on the gap analysis, they work with the developers. So business system analyst. And of course, product owners. But for product owners, you need more experience. So coming back to your target companies, make a list of 5 to 10 companies or maybe 15, that's okay. But have a very specific list of companies. So go to these target companies, find out the job openings which are out there, and then map all the skills which are mentioned in these job openings. So requirement gathering will be one common, or something like stakeholder management. These two are really common, but then you will also have user stories, Jira, and some of these other skills which will be mentioned. And that's why I'm saying target companies, because you can't do these things with hundreds of companies. Have a list of 10, 15 odd companies, go through all their job openings, find out these skills which they are asking for, and then have a very honest assessment of your current status against these skills. So if somebody were to ask about requirement gathering, how comfortable you are answering questions on that, on this topic, or stakeholder management, or how do you manage projects in general. For a BA, it's very important to have a specific list, know specifically what they are asking for, And it will also help you as we go ahead in this video. You will learn how it is so helpful to know what these specific companies are asking for, because some of these companies might be in insurance domain or banking or entertainment or any other domain, right? So when you learn the business analysis, you can focus on these domains, how business analysis is applied in these particular domain, what kind of skills are commonly used there, what kind of tools are commonly used there. That's why it is so important to have certain target companies. Of course, after you have some experience under your belt, then you can target any company. But to begin with no experience, it's very important to have these specific companies and then work on your personal project. So I'm assuming that when you enroll in any training or online course for business analysis, they will provide you some opportunity to work on the project, to work on some project at least. I offer projects because without them, I don't think any training is complete. But whatever institute you use, make sure that they are giving you some kind of project. And even if it is just one project, you can apply your learning from that project and create multiple projects. There are tools like Jira. You can use any other tool which you like. Could be Asana or any other popular tool. Point is, use them to create and work on your personal project. And when you are working on them, tie it back to your target companies and the skills they are asking for. So like I said, if it is a company in insurance space, you need to make sure that your projects are in insurance space, which means that you are targeting insurance features. Now, of course, that will require you to put efforts in learning that domain. For example, in insurance, you might just Google or ask your mentors what kind of projects you might work upon. So again, it goes to point one, where your institution can guide you what kind of projects might help you to target certain specific domain. For example, in banking, you might have a project on payment feature. So you might write n number of epics, then user stories, then create tasks for them, everything targeting a payment feature. Tools like Jira also provide you opportunity to start and manage your Scrum sprints. When you work on these projects, you will get really hands-on. Don't be generic, be very specific when you are preparing for your career. And then you will put all this information in your resume. Because I have seen kids coming out of college with nothing in their resumes. Now imagine if you put 5 projects which are relevant to that particular industry or skill, it will add such a value to your profile, isn't it? So if you just write, MBA from X college or BTech from Y college with no project or a very generic project, it is not going to add much value. So think about some of these features, some of these issues or challenges. Even if you don't know much about the projects in a particular space, you can always guess the kind of problems these sectors face around customers, around customer experience, and then you can have projects around them and then put them in your resume. But in addition to these 5 steps, I would also recommend you to be active on LinkedIn. I don't think you can afford to avoid LinkedIn in today's day and age. So it's very important to be active on LinkedIn. Make sure that you are posting at least 3 to 5 times in a week. Now, I know it could be hard, but you can use tools like ChatGPT, and if not 5 times or 7 times, then at least 2 or 3 times in a week. Then target these companies, network with these people, especially BAs and developers and project managers. See what kind of content they are posting on LinkedIn, what kind of content is being posted by these companies. You can also follow companies on LinkedIn. So let's say it's Infosys or Wipro or any other company you can think of. Follow these companies, see what kind of content they are putting out there. A lot of these companies are talking about sectors and large scale initiatives which they are taking on. So you can align your research and efforts and preparation along with those lines. So if they are targeting digital transformation, which is a very common theme in IT space nowadays, you can learn about it, you can target that, you can target certain space. Maybe news can provide you information about some of the large deals which these companies have made. So if you know that these companies are making deals with banks, then you know this particular company is focusing on banking. So let's try to learn about banking. Even if you don't know much about banking, at least you might have some savings account or information at a high level. Use that information as a starting point and create your projects. And when you work on these projects, one project, five project, 10 projects, you get better at, you gain more confidence, which will be reflected in your interviews. So remember, you have no experience, you are not going to get interview calls very easily. And if you are not prepared well, and if you fail in those interviews, you might again have to put a lot of effort to get another interview call. So that's why even before you start applying to these jobs, make sure that you are putting a lot of effort in learning these domains and preparing yourself. Learning business analysis. That is very important. Learn business analysis. In the next lecture, I'm going to talk about people who have experience but not business analysis experience. So don't worry if you are somebody with work experience but no business analyst experience. I'm going to talk about you in the next video. So don't forget to subscribe. And yes, if you have any questions, just leave your comments. Thank you.